In today's demo, Rob is demonstrating a quick and easy method to produce a painted greetings card. He will be using 3 watercolour paints and a black gouache on blocking fluid cold pressed 300g paper.
Yeah, 3 colours, and using this tape to mask an area or make a greetings card.
I was saying, you were saying that basically the tape is the sort of gives you a sharp edge.
Yes.
This particular one's from B&Q.
Yeah.
And it gives an absolute crisp edge, where some of the cheaper ones tend to sort of give a bobbling.
Yeah, and I mean, nothing goes under this. This is what it's about. I'm using here New Gambo, and this is artist quality New Gambo on a £140 knot surface watercolour paper, which I've folded into an A6 fold. This is Permanent Rose, one of my favourite colours. But you can see how strong I'm using it, and the brush is just got water in it.
Yeah.
And I've just picked up another drop of colour, and I'm just whipping that into the New Gambo. I'm now wetting the top of it again with just water, and then I'll start to bring in the blue just at the top here, again on a dry paper, and then just bring it down into the pink. And you can see that the reaction of the colours is to make purples, and the reaction with the New Gambo is to make golds and this sort of thing. I'm bringing in a little bit more permanent rose.
Kind of
here.
sort of building in the sort of starkness of the
and
reds and the
here
blues.
you see the permanent rose going through the wet blue, but it's not gone.
It's not reacting.
No.
You'd expect it to sort of blend in and turn into the purple.
Yeah. But the ultramarine is alkali, and the permanent rose is somewhat acid, and the acid burns through and leaves a pink mark in the wet blue, and you get these wonderful tones coming, and you can see how bright it looks now, but as this dries, so it will mellow.
So
reality
wise, I'd say with the watercolour and the way you're doing this sort of wet on sort of dry on wet, then sort of working through, it would work with other alkali and other acid paints,
absolutely.
where you basically you put it through and it doesn't take the colour to where you're
actually using the watercolour chemical structure. You can see here the tape's coming off quite easily. It's a low tack tape, comes off the paper without marking the paper. It usually sticks to your fingers and everything's flaming out. And I'm able to just pull this off and get quite a nice sharp line. There is a little bit of a breakdown in the bottom corner. I'm not worried about that. I'm just about to add some tape. I can never find the end of the damn stuff. To put down, to put my silhouette on the bottom corner here. And as you see, lots of measuring done.
All precise.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, art isn't always about having to be precise, is it? I've got to say, I mean, and realistically, on the previous sheet that you took out the way, that corner is going to be covered over anyway with what you're doing here.
Yes,
so
this is exactly
it wouldn't affect the end result anyway. And sort of, I personally quite like to see a little bit of reaction sometimes. Just know it's an original piece. And you can see here that these are exactly the same colours, but as you mentioned before, these are my colours, and you can use what colours you want. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use these colours to get this effect. I mean, Rose Madigan and I would say you've got to
things.
look at the chemical compound of what you're using. I mean, as you said, I mean, I wasn't aware of it before I talked to you regarding the acid versus the alkaline and how they don't react together. I say it's kind of
you get this burn through and things like that.
Absolutely.
And I mean, one of the things that I like about watercolour is that 3 colours, and you saw how quick it was. And now I'm using stuff which is a black gouache or gouache, which is just watercolour with body in it. But this one is slightly different because they've got a little bit of acrylic in this, and it means that when it's dry, it's dry. It will not wash off. I'm just putting a little tree in, and you can see I will leave some highlights to give the rock and the tree a feeling of being lit by this strong sunlight as it comes through. And the brush it's a very cheap, simple brush. There's nothing expensive about this, as you know.
I'll say it's a nice. I can see it's a majestic, probably a 20-0.
20-0.
I'll say it might be slightly bigger than that, but
fairly well used.
They are fantastic brushes. Yeah. I'll say they're
simple nylon brush.
Yeah.
I don't use
or Taclon if you want to have the new name.
Good old. I always like a Taclon. You can. I don't use with some of the heavier pigments like gouache a sable brush, but in the initial wash down, I was using the sable brush because it just gave me a little bit more flow and a little bit more keenness when it came to putting the wash down. But as you see, again, there's this ability to leave little spaces for the eye to feel as though the rock is being lit by this wonderful sunset or sunrise. I can never work out which one.
I personally feel it's a sunset. My personal sort of thoughts on it appears to be a sunset.
Okay, I'm pretty good, but you can do this. I've had students do this sort of thing quite easily themselves. I like silhouette. I've always thought silhouette was a nice technique, and with these colours, mentioning the permanent rose or rose madigan, they're pinks, and the reason I've used the pink in the sky against the blue is to stop the yellow or the new Gambo yellow making green. Green doesn't look nice in skies. In fact, it's got quite an ominous feel. Yeah. And that's why I always put a pink between my blues and my golds. Okay, God doesn't need to.
He has a slight advantage.
She has a bigger palette. I'm just lifting this masking tape off that you saw me put on very recently.
Very crisp edge.
A nice crisp edge. Nothing going under it. Nothing special to say. Again, this is watercolour paper, the stuff that you sell in blocks and blocks and blocks, and it makes quite a nice greetings card.
And again, you're on. It's a cold press.
Yeah,
CP
not
not
surface. Yeah, nothing fancy about it.
Because I think realistically, this technique would not work on a hot press very easily. It just zooms straight across.
It does, yeah, and it dries differently. You can do the silhouette will work anywhere you like, but the watercolour, you won't get that lovely grading. You can see in the top where the blue and the pink
just between the reds and sort of the blue, where it's bubbling almost. I was saying you're getting through sort of a cloud feel.
Yeah.
Which is happening because of the paper rather than anything else. It's going into the little. Yeah,
you don't have to rub it in. Yes, it was nothing I did.
All right. So you weren't the best.
Watercolour will give you this. Yeah. It gives you an enormous amount. So long as you don't faff about with it. You see so many people paint this stuff, and then they'll wash and push and wash and push, and it all turns to rubbish. Yeah. Let it alone. Let it do what it does, because it's very good at it. But this, I will say, is artist quality. Okay, the permanent rose, say in Winsor & Newton, which this is, will cost you £6 a tube, some odd. But the Cotman in Winsor & Newton will cost you about a couple of quid. Yeah. The difference is there's only a couple of quid's worth of pigment in the Cotman.
And it's the pigment in any watercolour that is the important piece. I mean, I personally like the Sennelier range, which is a fantastic. I can appreciate why you're going with the Winsor.
Well, again, this is the old artist. This is what I learned with, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm going to say, I personally would not sort of stick with one sort. If you find a colour you love, I mean, my personal thing, I've gone on to the Etude oil paint. Absolutely stunning paint. Yeah. And it's only a student quality oil. Yeah. You know, but my favourite one I've never found over here at the moment is the Van Gogh.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I have tried some
stunning,
of that.
But the pigment in that is so rich.
Well, again, the Sennelier fine acrylics. I can't think of anything that I'd rather use.
They are absolutely stunning. I mean, I got them in purely because I saw your painting.
Yeah.
And you know, so that was enough to sort of say, they have got some quality. I mean, they give you a proper pigment. proper sort of texture, proper colours, and
well, it's like oils, but it's acrylic.
Yeah,
so,
I'll say so. You got the drying time as well.
I just showing people. I write on the back of the card very quickly, and how quick it is that it's held off the surface because the bird is still wet. So I'm just writing on the back of it.